Put some respect on it. On it. On it. On it. On it.
All right. What is up, guys? So, other than group rides and the reviews, this is my first ever vlog. And what we're going to talk about today is some diet and some health issue stuff. Me, I work in the healthcare profession. That's right. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a nurse. What I do involves needles at one job in a hospital, but I'm not a nurse. And my other job involves blinky lights and sometimes driving fast legally. To give you a bit of a backstory, at one time, and I'll throw a photo up right here, I was 255 pounds, almost 260 pounds, if you can believe that. And I'm only like 5'9". This was in my mid-20s, I guess. I used to ride BMX, super duper active, you know, stayed pretty skinny, you know, like that skinny fat where you got a little bit of fluff, but you're not fat. I was fat at 260 pounds, that I can assure you. I felt like crap all the time, and looked like crap too, to be honest. Well, I decided to make some changes. I hit up a friend of mine that was actually a bodybuilder, and he gave me a lot of info to go through and everything. So he kind of helped me start that, and I lost a lot of weight on doing that. About, I don't know, 2 years ago, I fell all off. I fell completely off. Eating like crap, drinking tons of beer. I didn't really balloon because I did kind of just do portion control and everything, but didn't exercise, didn't, you know, just didn't care anymore. So started feeling crappy again. Now I think I dropped down to around 175, 180 pounds when I went through the first dieting thing. And a couple years ago, I got back up to 200 to 210, somewhere in that range. And I didn't look terrible. I didn't look great, but I didn't look terrible because I still had that muscle mass from lifting and everything for quite a few years. You know, just didn't have the time to lift. I didn't make the time to lift. I could have easily had the time to lift. I just didn't make the time. You know, just being a lazy person basically was what I was doing. And drinking tons of beer. I can't emphasize the beer enough. It was piss water beer. It was PBR. Not even good beers. But, you know, sometimes you gotta keep it kind of trashy, you know? About, let's see now, about 5 months ago, I think, end of January, I started feeling really bad. You know, just tired all the time. Never seemed like I slept enough. And now I was working a lot, and I contributed a lot of it to that. I started getting really thirsty. And I started noticing that if I drank anything sugary, like a regular soda, or regular energy drink, something like that, I'd have to piss within like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. So that's indicator number one right there. Indicator number one. Of course, actually no, number two, because number one was the fatigue and just never seeming rested. So number two, started pissing a lot. Always thirsty. So I'm like, oh, great. I think I know where I'm headed with this. I think I know where this whole thing is headed. But I brush it off, you know. Being in the medical professional, we're the worst patients ever. We generally don't like to go to the doctor at all. So I brush it off. Continue eating like crap, of course, because, you know, why try to fix the easy things that might help some. I did switch to drinking a lot more water, and if I had to have a soda, I do have a soda addiction, I will admit that. I would at least keep it diet. One morning, I wake up and I'm in an extremely, extremely horrible pain. And it was right under my left rib cage. And I'm like, crap. Crap. That is not cool. You know, so I call my boss, call out to work, call my girlfriend, because I didn't want to call 911 for abdominal pain that I wasn't like close to passing out from. You know, why am I going to bother somebody about that? Call my girlfriend. She drives, you know, the hour over to get me. And takes me to the hospital. Well, you know, they take my blood work and everything. Get me back into the ER. Doc walks in and he goes, okay, so you're diabetic. All right, fair enough, I'm diabetic. Okay, I saw all the signs, I ignored them. Being a good, you know, medical provider, ignored them on myself. But the normal range for triglycerides on a, you know, normal person of normal health is 150 to 199 is the range. Mine were over 4,000. My blood literally was separating between blood and fats in the test tubes. So I was well on my way to dying and having a stroke. Well, probably stroke potentially and then dying, or at least a massive heart attack at 34 years old. Because I ate like crap, I drank a lot of beer, and just didn't really try anymore. I was lazy. Oh, and by the way, my blood sugar on admitting was 388. So, the normal range for a human being that's non-diabetic is 74 to 99. So you can see I was way up there. My A1C was 11.7, which is dangerous. A1C is the 3-month average of your blood glucose levels. So immediately I decided I need to make a change. I needed a diet that would keep my blood sugar levels low and hopefully prevent me from having to take insulin. Now, I was on insulin in the hospital and was discharged with a prescription of insulin. Now, let me preface this. I do not suggest doing anything that I'm about to tell you without consulting your doctor. I'm only telling you what's working for me. One of the contributing factors to type 2 diabetes is weight. The more fat you have, the more, or I'm sorry, not the more, the less sensitive your body can be to insulin. Now, what brought mine on was triglycerides. My triglycerides caused acute pancreatitis. My pancreas was working way too hard trying to keep up with everything between the crap diet, the beer, lack of exercise, and the fluff on me. Because I had gotten kind of fluffy again. So, I decided to change, and I started it in the ICU once I was allowed to eat solid food 3 days later. I went to the ketogenic diet. Now, I had used this in the past with bodybuilding and everything to cut. If you're not familiar with the ketogenic diet, I'll link some pretty good stuff to look at. And it's not so much a diet. I know it is a diet, yes, but you got to look at it as a lifestyle change. Ketogenic diet is a low carb, high fat, moderate, adequate protein diet. Hello, cop. So, hopefully he's not going to come out after me for talking to myself. The diet is pretty awesome in my opinion. You eat a lot of vegetables, salads, broccolis. My personal favorite is the salad and broccoli, that's why those two are first. But Brussels sprouts are good. But the best part for me is you eat lots of meat and lots of cheese. For my friends that know me, meat and cheese is awesome. The downside is you got to keep your carbohydrates low. And when I say low, I tell people when they're starting out, shoot for under 30 grams of carbs. Me personally, I probably actually stay under 20 grams of carbs. And are you gonna kill me? Please don't kill me. With the ketogenic diet, you're eating more fats. Fats are way more calorie dense than carbs. The rough figures off the top of my head are for every 1 gram of fat, it's 4 times more energy dense than 1 gram of carbohydrate. So sugars count as a carbohydrate. It's a simple carb. Breads, wheat breads, count as a carb. That's a complex carb. Rice, another carb. White rice is more of a simple carb. Brown rice is more of a complex carb. You can look up this thing. It's called the glycemic index. I'll link that in the description as well, so you can kind of look how you're eating if you've ever looked into this diet or heard of it but didn't know much about it. Now, the reason that I'm talking about this is I shocked my doctor. I went back for blood work 2 weeks ago roughly. And that 11.7 A1C that I had when I was admitted to the ICU, that went from a 11.7 on admission to a 6.2. And that was strictly diet. I took my insulin and everything for probably the first month and a half, until I could sort everything out and figure out exactly what affected me and what didn't. And my fasting blood sugar was 124. It was a little bit up, a little bit further up than what it normally is. However, I've also now, after that blood work, I've really started adding in intermittent fasting on top of the ketogenic diet. Because with the calorie density and everything, you're not as hungry as often. So you don't feel like you need to eat every couple hours. So most of your fasting is done typically at night. And, you know, I do like a 18-hour fast, and then I have a 6-hour window to eat all of my calories, basically. Which sounds like a lot, but I'm down to 174 pounds now. And I'll throw up a photo of myself currently that I took before I went out on this ride. And you'll be able to see the differences, definitely. From that 255, 260 pounds to 174. And a lot of it was diet. Less of it to do with working out, because let's face it, you eat a Twinkie, you're gonna have to spend like 2 hours on the treadmill at the minimum to get rid of that damn Twinkie. Back to the topic at hand though. With the ketogenic diet and the intermittent fasting, I checked my blood sugar last night. I hadn't eaten for the day. I went and did a ride and review for Wayne's on a sport bike. That'll be coming out in a couple weeks. We're doing test ride Tuesdays. So there's another one that's got to drop before I release that one. That'll be due out this Tuesday. It's Memorial Weekend, or Memorial Day weekend, so in 2 more days it'll roughly be out. So if you like that stuff, you can definitely subscribe just for that alone. You don't have to listen to me rant. This stuff will be in playlists for you guys and girls. This is a lot of the reason why there was a huge gap in between my first 2 really crappy videos where I didn't really have any audio and I didn't post anything. But now we're back at it. I'm back in pretty decent health overall. And while I'm still considered pre-diabetic with A1C now, I haven't taken my insulin in 2 months. And last night, I'll post a side-by-side of pre-meal and then 2 hours post-meal. And I can tell you, I had 2 hamburgers, 2 eggs, 2 cups of broccoli, and a ton of cheese. It was mozzarella cheese, but a ton of cheese. Now my fasting blood sugars, they do still rise up a little bit, but that's something called dawn phenomenon. And dawn phenomenon is an interesting thing. It affects others, or some people worse than others. And then some people don't have any problem with it. Mine's gotten better with the intermittent fasting and with the keto. I was typically in the 130 range waking up. This morning 117. I'm gonna wrap it up here. Ride safe, enjoy life. Let me know what you guys want to see, recipes, however it goes.